Hi, everyone. So, today we are going to play a game about a man called Stanley. I played this a while ago when it first came out. Like, oh, there's the music. That was taking a while to kick in. But yeah, I played it a while ago. Then Ultra Deluxe came out, and I bought it, and I haven't touched it yet. So let's see if we can do that today. Please choose a screen and subtitle language. Let's do English. Just do the whole stream in Dutch. Yeah, let's do that. I don't speak Dutch. I'll be fine. Have you played the Stanley Parable before? Yes, I have. Use adjust the slider until the computer is barely visible. That's good enough. Enter my current time. Okay, let's see. What time is it? It is 5. Whoops. 25 p.m. Accessibility settings can be accessed from the main menu. Okie dokie. I hope the music isn't too loud. Let's just... You know what, let's just turn off the music for now. No music. If the game's too quiet, then I'll bring it back.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Whoops. Oh, it's already at the highest. Okay. Well. I could leave, but I don't want to. Yeah, okay, I'll leave.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Is my cursor visible? Someone's playing solitaire. Okay, I don't like that the cursor is like... The cursor isn't trapped by my game. If I keep moving it, it's gone to my other screen. And I'm scared I'm gonna touch something in OBS. So I'm just gonna put my cursor away. Let's see, controls. Wow, I can make every button interact or only one button interact. And that's apparently all I can do. That's better.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Nope.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Can't actually drink anything. Fuck it, I'm out.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nope, Stanley goes forward.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Oh, I don't want to jump down.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
Someone I forgot.
Stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley.
Hello?
You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Hello?
Is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven.
My wife.
All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Oh. Oh, honey.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Why are you so mean?
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
What?
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Yeah, if I push anything else, nothing happens.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations.
This is mean.
Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and
cyberbullying.
mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
I haven't even seen the game with the baby yet.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer.
My wife!
How could there possibly be?
My wife
In
is
reality,
gone.
all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
But you're telling me to do it, regardless. I'm not pushing it.
You see? Can he just
Oh,
not hear me?
Fuck, I
How
pushed
can I
it.
tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Mirror?
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm
It's a lasagna
compelled
cat
to.
mug.
I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Well, that's the end of the game. Great stream, guys. Okay, let's go.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Let's follow the directions this time.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Monday, weekly target admin. Marketing Mondays. 4 or 5 eyes. Private time. Group. The box is too small. Termination Tuesdays. Office efficiency. Legal. IT department. We're broke Wednesdays. Financial panic meetings. Boss inspection. Mergers, ideas plus developments. Weekly review. Oh, pre-review of weekly review, then weekly review. Pranking floor 5 meeting. What to do about 432? Don't tell 432 about the meeting. Office party. Rest in peace, friends. Push for funding of R&D of new coffee machine. Standardized graphs. Not cost efficient. Get Chris out of the broom closet. Synergize papers. Hire someone to synergize papers. Papers are too synergized. Fire paper guy. Hire someone to fire the paper guy. Fire the paper synergizing guy. Who moved my desk? Please keep the targets on the topic of something. Future was yesterday. Tomorrow is now. Tomorrow. Complete today's unfinished agenda items. Write next day's agenda. Reflect. Okay. Going on over here. Bi-quarterly post-review review. We need more/less reviews. 402 plus 405 want to get rid of the death sport portion in the primary review schedule. But I think that's a stupid idea. More water coolers. More water cooler heaters. Charts need to be more hip to appeal to teenage demographic. Find teenagers to put in teenage demographic. Big net? Some sort of child trap? A lot of percentage. Space between the teenagers. Teenagers, size of demographic. Throw something in the ideas bin. No more bins/trash cans. Renaming of the ideas on? Ficking of me? What? Firing of me. Okay, whatever. What do people want? Things. Happiness. Violet James, you are fired. Money. More money. Things to buy with money to buy more things. Graphs? Graphs about things plus money? We have our new product. The stock market is somewhere here. Colored in segment. Stripes. Requires more secondary research. Target demographic teenagers. What is hot? Profits. Profits, 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 profits. 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 Reasonable charge. I'm begging you, stop. Boss appreciation minute. Your boss appreciation minute worksheet. Circle top 20 things you love most about your bot. Solving interpersonal conflict. Do you ever find yourself in a conflict with another diligent employee like yourself, but more inclined towards conflict unless you're a kind of person who... Okay. What are your dreams for the future? Nature, success, metamorphosis, spring break, clear skin, comatose? A boat, mitosis, pollution. Tips for not getting fired. Talk less. Do unbelievable, amazing work all the time, every day with no expectation of promotion or recognition. How to solve a dispute with a coworker. Let it ball up inside you. I can't keep up with this PowerPoint presentation. That's enough. That's enough of that. To do, synergize core value expenditures. Shift global market parad? Oh, it's probably paradigm. Monetize free to play. Help, I'm gonna post it. Alright, let's go. Ooh.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
I remember there was an ending for staying in the broom closet.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
It's fine. I like the broom closet. It's nice.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
It's fine. I feel safe in the broom closet. It's comforting.
Are you Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing
Yes.
around doing nothing?
Yes.
Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
No. I like it here.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
It's fine. Just hanging out in the broom closet.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
I don't know. That's a whole lot of speech for just standing in the
Stanley
broom
was fat
closet.
and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Drugs and hookers. Not bad.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Oh. And I am quite alive. Despite what my VTuber backstory may imply. For those of you that don't know, I met Truck Coon and got isekai'd into the VTuber world. So I was just a normal guy till I got hit by a truck. It's fine. It's okay to be a 2D image on the internet. Trying to win an argument with a video game narrator by just standing in the broom closet with only one broom. Like, is it even a broom closet if there's more things than just brooms in it? I mean, of course it is. Where's the mop? The mop bucket's here. You got a big wrench? Small wrenches? Whatever that is. Some tape. Flatten out cardboard box. Maybe there wasn't a broom closet ending. And I'm just wasting time here. That's okay. I mean, we could just talk. There's nobody in chat right now. There's probably nobody watching right now. That's fine. Is the beauty of being a not first time, but new to Twitch. You just have a lot of time where you play a game or you do something and you're just talking to yourself for a while. So I'm sure like in a lot of the VODs I seem like a crazy person, kind of like right now. Like, who is he talking to? There's nobody. And that's fine. Because I do know people watch the VODs. I see the views on my YouTube channel. So for those of you that watch through the VODs, thank you. I very much appreciate your support. And thank you for spending this time in the broom closet with me. But we can only stay here for so long with me not having someone in the chat to interact with. So how about we just leave?
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Okay. No, I'm leaving. I'm leaving for real.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Going upstairs. The beige pages. Business time.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845.
Oh.
But of course,
Okay.
Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Oh. Going down.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
I miss the broom closet. It was nice there.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escape. Nah. Be back.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Cerebro.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
I'll put that one up there.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time?
2, 3,
Was this the
4.
only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Yeah, I don't know about that. It's a little much. Why don't we turn it on?
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
Yes.
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley?
It's
your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone.
That's fine.
Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? One soul?
Purple too?
Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble.
Those two over here.
This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately
Guess
to your
I'll die.
life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life
I don't
from
like
the
this
moment you
shaking.
fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
Well, I died.
All of his co-workers were
Wonder
gone.
how I get to the
What
new
could it
stuff.
mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
New content. Do I dare? I do.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Sorry if anyone that watches this has never seen the old content, but I really want to see the new
Hello,
content.
and thank you for playing The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, The Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content. Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure. Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
Narrator is hyped.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley. All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
I can jump. Oh, I can only jump in the circle. It's just like tape. Oh, that's it. That's all my jumps.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
Thank you for enjoying the
That's
new
it?
content.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks, just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
Okay. Oh. This is different.
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something!
Okay. Coffee nut.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it.
Oh.
Just our little secret. Take a look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
The Last of Us. Good times. The original remake? Are those ads? Yeah, they are. Smile because it happened. Can't really interact with anything. Go outside, don't play for 5 years. Impossible to get this achievement. Nominee. 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 Oh, I remember that ending. Piano.
Je suis dans la mémoire zone, seul sur l'abri de l'eau, et je n'attends plus que toi, mon amour.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now, a lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Maintenance. Person of the year. Oh, it's the only two characters, Stanley and the woman that finds him dead on the street.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games, and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
Over here.
These were simpler times, Stanley. What I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Probably not.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
So many bad reviews. And some good ones.
Okay, let's see what this one says.
Oh, here.
While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I?
You're a little
You can
preachy.
tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't. Oh dear, what an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remember. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you with just the push of... Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of... Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really true. Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person.
Can't see.
Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time, I stopped keeping track after...
Narrator. Clock's not working anymore. Let's just skip. Oh, the clock fell down. That beeping's
But they didn't
annoying.
understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now...
There's no door. There's something back here? No.
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
This is getting weird. Oh, damn. Look like coffee beans. I think they are coffee beans. Oh. Oh no. Well, that sounds creepy. Boopy. Oh no, the button! Nope. Can't push the button anymore. I guess I died in the desert. Oh, we're back.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
New content? Oh, well, I have
good.
to see this.
You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
New content changes everything.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
The end
Yes,
is
you
never
see,
the
isn't
end
this far
of
superior
the end.
to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions.
Taste the
This
sequel.
is what fans have truly been asking for. Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
2 doors. New content is out. New content part 2 is in. Old and busted. New hotness. Boring sections of the chart. Cool red section of the chart. Yeah. More TSP, better TSP. When. Sequential mindshare. Paradigm shift, synergy. Brick and mortar approach. Envelop client-centric marketing. The color red. Leverage holistic value. Logo ideas.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I
Round
figure
design pitch
that if I
break,
can loosely
pitch
organize a
design.
handful of interesting concepts,
2 chat.
that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Go floor. New features. New content. Oh my god, it's like if I'm at E3.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Decoration, Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. No way.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and
too
most
small.
obvious
That's
answer
right.
is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Is this gonna say my real name?
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right
Oh.
now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is.
My name
Here,
isn't Jim.
let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now? If so,
No.
then please step forward and press the button.
Jim.
Yes! You see? What a thrill! What a rush! That was you! The button described you. Do it again. Do it again.
Jim.
Ooh, it hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take
No.
a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Jim.
Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much, Jim. I'm putting the Jim button away.
Jim.
Otherwise,
Jim.
soon you'll
Jim.
start to lose
Jim.
all sense
Jim.
of who you actually
Jim.
are.
Jim.
No! My button! I really thought it was gonna say Miguel.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Please, no screenshots. A whole new office. Red is a new orange. Wait, why am I hearing... Is that the game? Weird. There it is again. Is that my phone doing that? I don't know if that's coming on out through the stream. Just hearing that weird noise that like cell phones do when they interfere with like your speakers or something. Baby is all grown up. Collectibles. Jump circle, this map. Free achievement. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. Merch. Setting world champion. Stanley Parent reassurance bucket. Office decorations. Epilogue. Collectibles. Infinite hole. And exit. I want the free achievement. Where is Q? I'm not sure. If I'm here, probably this. No, that's the infinite hole. Where's the infinite hole? The infinite hole is K. This map doesn't help. I'm leaving. The jump
You
circle.
know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's a... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle.
I did.
Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece, then.
Rude. I wanted to jump. Free, new, and easy achievement. I can't believe it's that simple. Okay. Free achievement. Get yours right now. Pull the lever, receive your new achievement. No more steps. It just works.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes.
Oh.
You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
I want the chest achievement. Give it to me. This looks like that thing from The Fly. That teleportation pod. It's hooked up to itself. Give it to me. Oh well. There was an attempt.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Collectibles in the infinite hole. See the collectibles.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
What the fuck? What? Can you find them?
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Screenshots.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Stepniece.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get Well Someday it is.
Wow.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
Need some merch. Oh wait, there's a QR code. Scan that. StanleyParable2.com. Welcome to the official website of the Stanley Parable 2. Yeah, I'm just looking at it on my phone. And it says, "Welcome to the official website of The Stanley Parable 2. A sequel, huh? Watch our helpful and informative video to learn more about the Stanley Parable and what the journey of becoming a sequel is all about." And then there's a YouTube video. That's new. If you're more of a prequel sort of person, check out the Stanley Parable. Thanks for stopping by. Enjoy the rest of the exhibit. Okay. You know, I would buy some of these shirts. This t-shirt is the best new feature. Let's do the infinite hole. Oh. It just keeps going. Hole, more hole, infinity, falling, depth, space, science, more. Okay.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium. You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
No. This reminds me of the closet.
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top.
I don't
Maybe
want
do
it
on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
No. Stop telling me what to do.
Okay, Stanley. I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
No, this hole was made for me. I'm staying. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. I wish I could jump.
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel. Oh, for heaven... You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there, goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you saw a little less time
Welcome
in
to
there
the
than
stream.
you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay.
That was fast.
Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter. Well, there it is. The shame of my lie has come to haunt. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
It's not working.
Is the teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago.
That's
Try
my
it
pool
again.
shape. It does look like a pool. Reminds me of the kiddie pool I had when I was little.
Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You
What?
couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
He left me. He left me in the hole. How dare he? I thought we had a special connection. Exactly the kid pool, I still have it. Well, it's been a very long time since I was a kid, and that pool was not made to last. What is with this Whoa. The hole is moving. The hole has accepted me. I am one with the hole. Goodbye, world. I am now part of the whole. This is so dramatic. Oh, this game's gonna kill me. I don't like this one. Oh! Oh, I don't like this one. I like this one. Change yourself.
My head's stronger. Now you're no longer
Oh.
using every space of mine. My head's stronger. Now
Puppies!
you're no longer.
How long is this gonna go?
Stanley? Stanley! Stanley!
Oh,
Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole?
I want to go
From
back
the
to
looks
the
of
puppies.
things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodle-pip.
Doodle pip. Oh, is it happening again? Is that music? Oh. Oh. I
Here
wanted
we
more
are.
puppies.
Go on. Try out some of the new features.
I think the only thing I'm missing is the reassurance bucket. I hope there's puppies in the bucket.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it.
Snow
Well,
bucket.
I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket.
Oh, there it comes.
You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting.
The
You may
companion
even come to
cube of this
long for
game
the
is a
gentle
bucket.
embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the
feel
game to be less uncomfortable.
Like I'm having
Can you
more
imagine what a pain in the ass
flashbacks
that
about
would be?
Homestuck.
Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Hey.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body.
I
And in
have a
fact,
bucket.
Can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Welcome to the Bucket Zone.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That
They
really
should.
should be an award if it isn't already.
The button that says Jim. That's Jim.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Settings World Champion. I already did the free achievement and it didn't give me an achievement, so... Why can't I... Let me in! Wait a minute. Okay, there's no... I was thinking maybe there's a setting in here that says World Champion. Nope. Just me and my bucket. There has to be something else in here. Like maybe the free achievement works now. Nope. Still broken. Guess I'll head towards the exit. Wait, where's the exit? Over here?
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
I guess. You should put a name to the bucket. I shall name this bucket Roger. Roger the bucket. Oh, that's a good one. Eduardo. Eduardo the bucket. No. I like Eduardo.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Amazing.
Wow. Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Amazing. It's red. And there's a number 2 on it. Will our friend Eduardo the Bucket make an appearance? I sure hope so.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building
balloons.
where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year.
Kinda looks like my real
Might
job.
have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Was he?
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had
Get
this
well
happened.
someday.
This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
The bucket.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Eduardo, my friend. Use tits to make big boys speak. No, that's... It doesn't say tits. It does look like tits. It's apostrophe TTS to make my cat here speak. It's not tits. I wish it were. Okay, we got Eduardo. We're ready for our adventure.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Eduardo is the star of this show.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand
You
it
take the
over.
right door yet? Yes, I did earlier.
We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well,
Hey,
I'd
I'm
never.
leaving. Jeez.
Go on, Stan. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
No. We're going downstairs.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone
What?
else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket?
This
is all
isn't
terribly
Eduardo.
wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed,
Where's my bucket?
now he noticed that the rooms were
Where's
empty,
Eduardo?
which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious. He
Oh, no.
exclaimed, without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his.
Oh,
None of
these
them were his
phony
special
buckets.
bucket.
Imposters!
Come to me, Stanley, find me.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It
No.
was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And
No,
then suddenly,
Eduardo.
he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
The true bucket was the friends we made along the way.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Mariela.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
You see, this could have been avoided if we had our bucket. Don't forget your bucket, kids.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Meeting today in the meeting room. Eduardo!
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was
Right
not the
door.
correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes,
Yes.
perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Always trust Eduardo. Always trust your bucket.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Oh,
Stanley took the door on
Maybe
his
not.
left to go back to the meeting room.
no.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good,
Said the bucket.
now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because
Oh, shit.
Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket,
I messed
his
up.
dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
Okay, we'll try that again. Oh, there's a phone ringing. Where is it? This one? Over here? Oh, this one.
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation. We are confirming your shipment of 1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work. Can you verify that this is correct?
No, I can't.
Excellent. Your order will arrive shortly. Thank you again for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
I guess we're getting a lot of boxes.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yeah, good,
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Fuck you, lift. I choose my own destiny.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here?
Oh, no.
What if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket.
I know what a
Please,
bucket is.
step in here for a moment.
Is this
Now
a
then,
bucket?
I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket.
Yes.
Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
No.
Correct. It is
What?
a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Oh, man.
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
No.
Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 3. Is this a bucket?
No.
Incorrect. This is a bucket. Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible.
Mashongo,
Let's just
you're
move
right.
on to the next one.
Eduardo is the only bucket. The only bucket in my heart.
Is this a bucket? Correct. This is
What?
a bucket.
What? Why is that a bucket?
Item 6. Is this a bucket? Trick question. Both. Gotcha. Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere. Yes. Thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound like I'm saying everything is a bucket, which of course is not true.
Everything is a
Is that what you
bucket.
think? Answer me straight, Stanley. Are you trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket?
If you think about it, anything can be a bucket if you try hard enough.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence, and yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is?
No.
Am I a bucket?
Are you?
Stanley,
Yes.
I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry.
No.
But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
No.
Okay.
No, no.
Here we go.
Don't do it. Eduardo.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait,
Because
was
everything is a
everything
bucket.
Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea.
Oh,
How could...
so
except
good.
me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
Everything is buckets.
How long was I sitting
Oh.
there? Stanley wondered to himself.
Boxes.
Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now on.
Eduardo.
Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good,
Said the bucket.
now ride
Oh,
the
no.
lift all the way to the top.
It was a
There's
collectible
something
there.
up there I need you to do.
I gotta reset.
But Stanley
I wanna
feared
get
that
it.
any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
How romantic.
Stanley knew the office
the
layout
bucket-
like
the
the back of his
boxes
hand.
are gone.
It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were.
Eduardo.
Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket
Si tú
tightly
hubieras
to his
dicho
chest
siempre la
and
verdad,
entered the
sí.
door on his left.
Te me hubieras respondido cuando te llamé. Si hubieras amado como te amé, sería en mi sueño la mejor mujer. Moshongo. Are those lyrics to a song?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling
There's
him
an
that
Easter
the
egg near
employee
Stanley's
lounge
office.
was simply the place to be.
Oh, I need to go back for that later. Hey, wait a minute. Oh, I thought I saw something in there.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Voila.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, There really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands?
Mini
Stanley
stands.
figs. What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that.
Oh.
Another Stanlerine under your belt.
I guess all I can do is die now. Oh wait, no. Oh. Where am I? Cassette tapes. Narrator dialogue. Is this the narrator?
Okay, this is day number 295, tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down, it doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that? Who's there?
What? You know, Mashongo, you're right. That's very Five Nights at Freddy's-ish. Very, very horror game-ish. It's okay, we weren't meant to understand.
Someone was following Stanley. He was
What?
sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you that there's anyone following me.
The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together.
Try to climb to 433. Okay, where's 433? Oh, we're not there yet, are we? Oh, wait. 431 through 436, so... 434, 433... How do I... How can I climb on this desk? All I have is a bucket. Who farted? Was I supposed to climb here when the boxes were here, or am I missing something? Or maybe the bucket is weighing me down so much I can't climb. Oh, oh, oh! Oh, I'm up. Now what? I'm up here. Oh my god! I'm outside.
Whispered the bucket into Stanley's ear.
We've done it. We've escaped from that dull office and that pesky narrator. At last, out here in the white void, we are alone. Now, and for the first time, I can reveal to you my true self.
The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history, of the countless wars it witnessed, desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein, of sadness and regret, and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb the madness and the decay, if only it had been stronger, of hope and redemption, and its crusade to uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed, and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's dreams and wishes met halfway, meted out in parcels like charity, and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration begins to dim. The opportunities to do so much more. There was so much it could have done, perhaps, the bucket wondered to itself. Perhaps, if it had seen its own darkness with a clearer perception. This was way too much for Stanley.
What are you talking about?
He screamed.
You're a bucket!
To this, the bucket furrowed its brow.
No,
said the bucket.
not since the evil wizard Gambhorata first ensnared me in his machinations as payback for the sacred amulet I stole from his treasured vaults.
What?
I was young back then and could not conceive the ramifications of... No!
Stanley screamed even louder this time.
This is stupid! You are a bucket! This is so stupid! Why are we even doing this?
What's
As
happening?
Stanley screamed and screamed and screamed, the bucket revealed its true form, transforming into a mighty beast of untold power, its fangs glistening like... My God, Stanley,
Eduardo, no!
you did it. You saved us from the bucket. Thank God you already had all 12 emblems of sages and knew the incantations to summon their true power. Otherwise, we would have easily been overwhelmed by the bucket's power. I'm
Eduardo
speechless.
was evil
You've
all
demonstrated
along.
such bravery here today. Come, let's restart the game, and we'll agree to never again go trifling with this bucket, nor the dark magic cast away inside of it.
I didn't like that.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Can I...
Stanley decided to go to
get
the
up
meeting
there
room.
without
Perhaps he had
the
simply
bucket?
missed a memo.
Yep. Now what?
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet? Ah, then in that case we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do
Okay.
you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it
I
if
think
I
the
hadn't
game would have
brought up
just
the issue
restarted.
in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is Rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected Continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
No. Yes? No, I guess I live here now. Can I leave? I'm ready to go now. Mr. Narrator. Hello. Hello. Hola. I'm ready to leave. Ugh. My eyes hurt. For real. Just... I guess I have to do it myself? Okay. Not doing that again.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled.
Stanley clung the bucket to his cheek. Could his co-workers really all be gone? Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it no? Never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room.
No,
go
this time
somewhere
I'm staying
else.
on this
The
crane.
cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here,
said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Oh.
Now pick up the phone.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Bucket art. There you are, Eduardo. Hello, Stanley. It's me, your bucket. Press any button to take me to work with you. Okay.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders.
Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
There was a cable there. I think you could unplug the telephone. I'll go back and try that again next loop. Press any button, take me home with you.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Press any button to go back to work.
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
Don't listen to the loud man. Press any button for us to go back home.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Press any button to ignore anyone in your life except for me. Eduardo.
It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
You believe I'm real, don't you, Stanley? Press any button to go back home.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Press any button to relive the same day with me over and over.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Press any button to go home, to work, to home, to work, to home.
Oh no.
Oh.
I'm having feelings for the bucket. No, 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 no. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps, if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes, the bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation.
This looks like I'm about to make love to the bucket.
Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley.
No, it's my bucket.
I need it. Give it to me now. Give it, or I'll...
Go back to work, Stanley. Okay, then.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
A good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
See if
but
we
Stanley
can...
had felt the bucket calling to him.
Stanley
telling him
X
that the
Bucket Rule
employee
34
lounge
search.
was simply the place to be.
I think...
And here it was.
I'd
Had
rather
the bucket
not.
turned out to be correct? Was this no? Never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
What happens if you make another ending without Eduardo?
No,
I think...
Said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting
I
room.
think you
go
just
somewhere
get
else.
the regular
cargo
endings
lift, yes.
from, like, the original
Good,
game.
Said the bucket.
If you
Now
don't
ride
have
the
the
lift
bucket.
all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
So I'm
Stanley
assuming
did
that
not
having
question
the
why or
bucket
how this bucket was
is what
speaking
gives
to him.
you the
It
new
should have alarmed
endings.
him, of course, because buckets can't talk.
I could be wrong.
But Stanley
I have
chose
no
not
idea.
to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here, said the bucket. Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the phone,
said the bucket.
Pick up...
Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders?
You're right,
Stanley, I
Moshongo.
was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke. Don't
Yes,
you
I
get the
have played
joke?
the
It's
original.
funny, Stanley. A talking bucket. Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions
It's
is...
a crash course in
yes.
comedy.
Let's dive deeper.
I could use that.
If
I
you've
am
ever
terribly
told a
unfunny.
joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now.
I'm Dunny with the funny.
Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invaders who threaten our very existence and who very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
I'm Dunny with the funny.
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the 2 doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
Oh. He wasn't joking about going back. We added the gate so I can't jump
this
off.
This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
When are we gonna be done with the funny?
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Why is it dark?
What? We're back at the phone already? No. What's going on? There was supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point, a dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the 2 doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again.
No.
Yes, surely that will help me improve my...
No way.
Here we go. You ready?
Oh, okay.
When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left. What? We're back at the phone already? No. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Okay,
What?
I guess I'll go
We're
to
back
the
at
door
the
on the
phone
left.
already? No. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left. No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
Stanley,
What?
you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Well, let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No? Still not? Is it the delivery? Pale with shame. Pale with shame? Pale... What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so metal. I think I saw it playing guitar. No.
Is this an actual
Getting away from making fun of Stanley's
ending?
obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this. I'm no good at these jokes. I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me the king of comedy again. More instructional videos. Let's see.
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time.
Ah, the embrace of an old friend, a weathered companionship that stands the test of time.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Need to make that ending without the bucket. I don't know if you have done that ending before, but meh. Yeah, okay, I'll do that next time. I did play the original. It's just that I played it when it came out years ago. There will be a reward for finding them all. Warehouse access plan. Produce one plank to allow ease of access past fence. Construct bridge to allow collection of shiny fleet. Retrieve Chris's remains from the warehouse floor. Construct new structurally sound bridge. We need more planks. Places to search. LOL looks like 427. Ha ha ha. 5. There be, just take it from me. Gotta collect them all. Is this some kind of game? Must be a point to this. So somewhere both red and blue, nearby a fireplace, a private but smelly place for an important person. Who are you? 666 LOL. There will be cleaning of this wall required. I want them so much. I want to go home. Stop kidding yourselves. Red room. It's like a whole conspiracy whip for these things. Bottom text. Trust the completionist instinct. Why wouldn't they just tell us something will happen? This investigation, this room, they feel pointless.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it?
No.
The broom closet. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Oh, this is the red place where I found the thing. Yeah, I can't read that. I already went down there. Let's just go up. Executive bathroom.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen?
Oh,
go up by
Mashongo,
one?
thanks for the
Let me
follow.
say it. I'm sure it will come
You're
to
a
me.
good streamer, so here's my follow. Thanks a lot, dude. To be rich is a crime. To commit crimes, isn't it rich? What a life would it be to have to pick just one? Oh, that's weird. I really appreciate the follow, Moshongo. I am trying really hard to get to affiliate, but it's taking a
Stepping
while.
into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk.
Oh, I noticed
Nor
it.
in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
2845.
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
You're getting
Aha.
close now, Stanley. You've nearly
Just
gotten
one
all
more.
of the Figler and Marines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them, and now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler and Lorines. None of us can.
Okay. Down we go.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
I feel safe with Eduardo.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Nope.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Violent?
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
How painful could it really be? Spoopy indeed. Let's go! I live. Ah.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Eduardo, protect me. Eduardo, you did it!
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
No.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
My god, the museum ending is all about the bucket. The bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. Well, I must go for now. See you next time. Oh, thanks for hanging out, Moshongo. See you next time, dude. Take care. So let's read this. It says, "You're standing at the precipice of knowledge, much like a bucket itself. The human mind is frequently empty with a cavernous void. But through use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched and substantiated. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the one true knowledge we really have. Will you take what you learn here out with you into the world? Will you accept with an open mind what may be challenging about the information in this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were, in ignorance and darkness?" Well, let's find out.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him?
Eduardo.
Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Eduardo, I miss you. That's a lot of buckets. 25 buckets. Photograph of 25 buckets the greatest number of buckets ever captured on camera. The photographer experienced catatonic shock for several weeks as a result of the euphoria from exposure to this many buckets at once. I can't blame him. It's truly magnificent. A bucket with 2 handles? Oh no, that's too much. This bucket is depicted as having 2 handles. Such a design has never been created in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens are put to death just for attempting it. My God. Ooh. Inferno Bucket. A replica of the Inferno Bucket, which in the medieval era was so powerfully alluring, that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, and yet, in spite of it all, the simple fact remains: no one can control a bucket. That's amazing. Stress bucket. An analogy. Worrying, negative forecasting, negative thinking, lack of reassurance. Vulnerability equals size and strength of the bucket. Coping strategies equals holes. Rest and relaxation, doing something you enjoy. Rest and relaxation. Stress equals the level of water in the bucket. The stress bucket. Presented without commentary. Yep, that's all there is there. Oh. Ancient buckets. Cave drawing. While we know that buckets predate the existence of mankind, we do not know by how long. This cave drawing depicts early man's discovery of the practical uses of the bucket, by which time the bucket had already likely been around for several millennia. Notice in these drawings how the bucket is allowing itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worthy of its treasures. Amazing.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
The hanging bucket. This piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between bucket and humanity. However clear our grasp of the bucket may be, there is yet more that is always out of reach. This distance, inevitably, is for our own good. No. But I can get it! Bucket, come to me!
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong.
Tell me.
Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Amazing. Oh man, that's great. This game is still great. Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Well worth it. It's fantastic. Or should I say, the Stanley Parable 2. Now with more bucket. Well, that's enough for tonight. I don't know if I'll stream again tonight. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But tomorrow is Sunday, so I should be streaming on Frankly I Don't Give a Fork's channel. Going to continue playing Titanfall 2, the single player. Fantastic game as well there. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for anyone who may have been lurking. Thank you, Moshongo, for the follow. And I will see you all next time. Bye now.